بسم الله.
नाराय तकबीर, नाराय रिसालत, गुल्ले ईमान, नाराय हैदरी, हैदरी, कातलाने हुसैन पे लानत, ना पे लानत, और मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद लानत सलावत।
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بزرگ فلسفه قتل شاهدین این است. بزرگ فلسفه قتل شاهدین این است که مرگ سرخ به از زندگی رنگین است. ظلم کن به کسی نظیر بار ظلم برو، نه ظلم کن به کسی نظیر بار ظلم برو، که این مرام حسین و منطق دین است. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وهو أصدق القائلين: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Alhamdulillah, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We continue with our discussion, and that is combating the culture of israf in this country. We have moved to this country, alhamdulillah, for a number of reasons. We are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us all the facilities which we find in this country. One of them, as I said yesterday, that we can gather here and remember Imam Hussain, participate in Azadari, in Majalis, in Matam, in Soz, Salam, all those things without any hindrance. We can do this thing. We are not doing it secretly. Even the government knows about it, but we do it because there is a freedom of religion. So we are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are many other also benefits of coming to this part of the world. But at the same time, there are also challenges, especially the youths as they grow up, and even sometimes the elders. There are challenges because we have come from the part of the country, the culture was different. Here the culture and the practices are different. So one of the culture is the culture of israf. In this country, because there is a lot of facilities and ni'mat and blessings and resources, in the process, people easily just do israf. Now, why they do israf, as I told you, one of the reasons is because it's available in plenty. Secondly, because it's not expensive. As I said, that you can buy food so easily, so many brands, right? The third reason, that why you find some people do israf is because they don't have the concept of taqwa. Because there is no fear of Allah. When, for example, a Canadian takes, for example, some fruits or food or anything, he just disposes of. As I said yesterday, that you buy coffee and suddenly because you're on the phone and it became just cold, so you just throw it. Now, why they do it? Because the concept of taqwa is not there. There is no piety. Khuda ka khauf nahi hai. No, we do it because we think that no, we are answerable for this thing. Allah is going to ask us, the Hasnian, why did you throw the nemat which I gave you? The nemat which I gave you are supposed to take care of it. So this is the reason that you can see there is a conflict of that interest. Our culture is that we have fear of Allah. It is very important. Every Friday, every mujtahid says that when the imam who leads the Friday prayers must remind himself and the audience about taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The taqwa, piety, parhezgari, khuda ka khauf. This is all the time is there. They don't have this concept at all. It's not there in the culture at all. In fact, if you tell them you fear God, they will say, what are you talking about? What's fearing God, right? But we have this thing. So we've been discussing that this culture is there. So let me today just define for you what is israf as far as Islam is concerned. So israf is extravagance, means crossing the limits or spending wastefully. So there's a limit that you should spend within your limit. You drink within your limit. For example, if I only need for example, half of this bottle, then I use only half. The remaining half, I'll keep it and use later on. So if I use half and throw half, there will be israf. So you go over the limit, right? Or spending wastefully. Mawla Aminin salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He says the extravagant has three qualities. The musrifai, the one who is extravagant, has three qualities. One is he eats more than required. Whatever is your requirement, if you eat more than that because, mashallah, today the food is delicious. No, today is very good. No. That is israf. Whatever is your requirement, eat, Allah has given, right? But more than that, Mullah is israf. Number two, he wears more than is suitable for him. Whatever is, you dress according to your standard. For example, mu'mineen usually dress simply. But if you are a salesperson, if you are a CEO, if you are a manager, you go to the office, you would like to be in a good dress so that because other people also are working with you. So it's different. So your job, your position requires certain kind of dress. That's fine. So if you dress according to your standard, that's fine. But if you do more than that, for example, let's say that my work is to clean the car, wash the car. It's an example. It's a job, right? There's nothing wrong in it. It's a job. So that's my job as an example. If that's my job, I go to the work and wear the best shirt and the best pants. Kya hoga? Within 5 minutes, it will be just spoiled, right? It doesn't make sense. No. Yeah, if I want to dress well, then at least when I go there, I'll change my dress. I'll take, those, I'll put on dress so I can then clean the car. So that is the israf, Mawla says, right? And then he says, and the third quality is busy things, he buys things needlessly. If you buy things which you don't need it, that is also israf. We discussed yesterday that you go to the market and don't create your needs. Make the list of what you need and then go to the market. The sixth Imam says, if you wear a formal dress where it is not required, it is extravagance. You see, subhanallah. If a formal dress is not required, you still wear it, that is extravagance, right? Now coming to Canadian story, right? Let me share with you. Yesterday I shared with you a number of statistics. Let me share with you some more. Subhanallah, more than 500 billion liters of drinking water. This is half a liter. Do you see? This is half a liter. Double this is 1 liter. So more than 580 billion liters of drinking water, which is equivalent to 236,000 Olympic swimming pools, are being wasted every year by homeowners in the greater lakes of Ontario and Quebec. This is not only Canada, just Ontario and Quebec has a greater lake. There, they waste 560 billion liters of water every year. Do you see? This is Canada, unfortunately. The report found that the largest water savings could be achieved by replacing all toilets. Now, one of the things, for example, and I'm sorry to give this example, but we are discussing, right? We have a learning process. As they say, la haya fit din. When we discuss religion, we have to be candid. So mu'mineen, we have this habit, even we teach our children. Go to the washroom, and after using it, just flush. Now, if you want to do that, if you want to teach your children and yourself to always flush, then make sure that you have flush which takes less water. Nowadays, there are flushes, for example, whereby you can have water which goes, if a person just goes for urine, then you press different, for example. If the person goes for other things, then it's different. So make sure that accordingly you have those kind of requirement. You have to actually, even if it means call a plumber and make the change, is a worth investment. Because they say that this can be achieved. Converting all remaining oil toilets to high efficient 6-liter plus toilets would save 213 billion liters of water just from the flush. 213 billion liters of water. So I mean, just because it is Canadian standard that you just go there and you use it. Even for example, sometimes the child goes, he would urinate only 2 drops. No, bacha hai, pata hai. And even then, because you have training, you have to flush the water. But in the process, he has flushed 10 liters of water, which is asraf, which is wrong, right? So we have to be careful about this thing. Just because. So let us not. So meaning, because we are Muslims, because we are Shias, because we are followers of Ahlul Bayt, because we have taqwa, parhezgari, our lifestyle is different. We cannot just go with the flow. Another statistic about Kenyans. Kenyans consume large quantities of water compared to other countries. In fact, Canadians use more than twice as much water as Europeans do. Canadians do twice as much. No? On average, a typical person consumes 335 liters water daily. On average, each Canadian consumes 335 liters of water daily. That means if you take this is half, right? So if you take 670 bottles like this, every person uses that kind of water every day. That is why I'm telling you that when these statistics are there, you ask this question, am I the part of this? Am I the one also who is doing asraf, right? This is it. Or equivalent of season, So this is what we are doing. The University of Waterloo had a research. It says Canadians close to 500 million kilograms of fabric items on a yearly basis, including such as clothing, shoes, and toys. 500, you can see, million kilograms of clothing, shoes, and toys. We just toss, we just dispose it. You can imagine. So this all is part of israf, right? You can see. Consumers buy, use, and dispose of new garments which end up in the landfill, and less than 1% of the material is recycled. Out of this, you will say, okay, we can recycle. No, only 1% recycled. 99 is just going to the Westfield, you can imagine. This is what's happening in Canada. You can see how much israf is happening. So we'll be answerable for that. We cannot just say on the day of judgment, okay, I was Canadian, no. Yes, I'm Canadian, but I'm a Muslim Canadian. I'm a Shia Canadian. I'm a Hussaini Canadian, right? There's difference between us and others. We have values, we have cultures, right? This is in 2019, Canadians produce more garbage per capita than any other country in the world. In 2019, Canadians produce more garbage per capita than any other country in the world. You can imagine how much wastage we are doing this thing. So keep this in mind. So let me tell you one thing, subhanAllah, there is a hadith in the Sunni sources, but it's interesting. It said that the Prophet was just walking and found date on the road. Khurma. He was walking and found a date. You know what he said? He said, were it not that I'm afraid that it may be zakat, I would have cleaned and eaten it. Subhanallah. Just khurma paya raste mein. Rasul is saying, I'm just not eating it because maybe it's zakat, and zakat is haram on Prophet in Ahlul Bayt, right? So because I'm not sure if it's zakat, if I knew it's not zakat, I would clean it and eat it, but not do asraf. Do you see this thing? Raste mein khurma paya. So this is Islam. We have mu'mineen values. We cannot go by Canadian values all the time. We have certain values, and keep that in mind. So coming to israf, right? There is a beautiful book, mu'mineen, when you get time. I don't know how many of you have the habit of reading Islamic books. We have got one lecture, inshallah, on seeking knowledge. But there is a very good book known as Gunahan Kabira, Greater Sins, by Ayatollah Abdul Hussain Dastaghaib. He's a great scholar. He became Shaheed whilst in Mihrab. He's known as Shaheed Mihrab. At the beginning of revolution in Iran, they were targeting the great scholars. So a lady came, said, Agha, I want to ask you a question. Of course, how would you, you can't say no, right? A lady came, you can imagine, and wearing a bomb. She had a bomb on her body. And she wanted to ask a question. She came here and just knocked at Ayatollah. He became Shaykh Mihrab. So he has Qalb Salim, he has Gunahan Kabira books. A great alim, right? You should read this. The book is available also online. So he has mentioned all 80 Gunahan Kabira. No. He says the Quran number 32 is what? The 32nd sin which has been mentioned in Quran and Hadith as a greater sin is Isra, which is restfulness. It is enumerated as a greater sin by both the 8th Imam and also the 6th Imam. 8th Imam has a list of Gunahan Kabira, 6th Imam has a list of Gunahan Kabira. In both this list, this Israf comes there, you can imagine. So it's quite interesting, we should know this thing. Now, let me share with you hadith from another book. There is a book again, Ghurr al-Hikam. Mawla, we are Shias of Amir Mu'mineen. We take pride. This is the biggest, you should always pray for your parents. Because Haramzada Kabi Ali ko nahi chahega. The fact that today we have love for Ali, right? We'll die for Ali, This shows that your parents have been honest in the relation, right? This is it. This is in your heart there is love for Ali. This shows that you are halal zada. This is the biggest you can see. So you should thank and pray for your parents when you love Ali, right? So this Imam Ali has a book. Besides Najib Balagha, there's another book, Ghurr al-Hikam. Ghurr al-Hikam. You know how many hadiths it has? Anybody? Anyone has an idea how many hadiths is this? 11,700 hadiths. 11,700 hadiths. Divided in 700 topics, different 700 topics. Mu'mineen, रात के सोने से पहले आप कम से कम एक दो hadith को पढ़िए. It's available online. The book you don't even have to buy. Just go on islam.org. You can download, for example, first 100 hadiths, right? And then read it. After next week, for example, next Sunday, and download another 100 hadiths. You can do like that. 11,700 hadiths, right? In that book, Ghurr al-Hikam, Mawla says, beautiful, Man iftakhara bil-tabzir, uhtakara bil-aflas. Mawla says, a person who takes pride in wasting will be humiliated by poverty one day. A person who takes pride in wasting will be humiliated by bankruptcy. आज फख्र कर रहा है कि आप लोग असराफ करें, मेरे पास बहुत कुछ है, मैं इतना खा रहा हूँ, ये यूज कर रहा हूँ, I'm going to take in this car, I'm going to buy the most expensive car, the most expensive clothes. फख्र है मुझे कि मेरे पास बहुत है. Imam is saying the person who is fakhr of doing wastefulness will be humiliated. He'll be humiliated by poverty. A time would come that you'll see that person become poor. So meaning you have to be careful about this thing. Coming to again this thing, that why we should be careful. The question comes, kabhi ke baad bachche puchte why, which is good. I'm glad that the youths are asking the questions why nowadays, and they have the right. You know why? Because when we answer the why, and if they are convinced, they'll follow it. When we were raised, when I was a child, I would never ask why, right? Because nobody would dare to answer. No, we say, how dare can you ask me why? Why? The question says, why should we be concerned about vesting? And subhanAllah, you'll be surprised. Quran is giving us the answer. Quran is telling us that Allah has made us as Khalifa on this earth. When somebody is sick, Tasawwur Bhai reminds us that recite 5 times Amman Yujibul because so and so person is sick. That ayat, Amman Yujibul actually pursue, that is incomplete. What is the complete ayat? Anybody knows where in Quran this ayat comes? Amman Yujibul? किसी को पता है? Quran के कौन से सूरह में? In which surah and which ayat is this? It is Surah 27, Namal, ayat 62. Surah 27, ayat 62. See the entire ayat. Bismillahir Rahman. Amma yujibul muttarra idha da'a yakshifu as-su wa yaj'alukum khulafa al-ardi. Ilahun ma'allah qalil ma tazkurun. Ma tazakkarun, right? So you can imagine this is the complete ayat. What does it mean? Amma yujibul muttarra yakshifu as-su. No. Who is the one who responds to the call when he asks for it? Yujibul muttarra, when a person in distress and asks for it, who is the one who responds to the call? Allah, right? Then Allah says, وَيَجْعَلَكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ. Allah has made you as Khalifa, as vicegerents, as successor on this earth. أَإِلَهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ. Is there any God besides Allah? قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Little is you remember. So we are the successor, we are the Khalifa on this earth. Because we are the Khalifa, we are supposed to take care. For example, let's say that you are running a business, right? You are running a business, now you go for ziyarat, you go for umrah, you go for hajj. So you tell your friend, you tell your son, you tell your neighbor that, Baba, I'm going for ziyarat, can you take care of my business for 2 weeks? And your friend say, of course, it's my pleasure, you're going for ziyarat, just pray for me, give my salams to Imam, I'll take care of it. Now what happens? If I take care of a business, I am now your Khalifa. I'm supposed to take care of your business very well, right? I should not do khiyanat. I'll take care of everything, make sure that whatever I sell, I keep the record of it, right? I will not do khiyanat. So in the same way, we are the Khalifa of this earth. We are supposed to take care of the environment. We cannot waste it. We cannot let it go in waste. We'll be answerable for that, right? In fact, Allah Matabat may Allah raise his status. He says in Al-Mizan that he will make you Khalifa on the earth. Given the context, this pertains to the successorship, vicegerency that God has bestowed upon humankind to reign over the earth and the creatures therein as they want. This refers to the verse. And when your Lord said to the angels, I'm going to place a Khalifa on this earth. The vicegerency, Allah says, the vicegerency of the humans refers to their use of the earth and its resources. You can see how we use the resources. That is the vicegerency. We are the Khalifa on this earth. That means we are responsible on how we use the earth and its resources. So we cannot, for example, just go out and take a plant and just remove it. I don't know, I don't know about Saskatchewan, but in Ontario, if you go out in for example, in the forest or anywhere you go, if you find any tree there, you are not allowed to pluck. You just cannot remove it. If they find you, if they see you this thing, you'll be fined $2,000. You are just in the jungle. There are so many trees and everything is growing wildly, right? You say, no, this is so good. Let me take it and take it home. No, you're not allowed to do that. There is a fine of $2,000. You can see why? Because they want you not to spoil the environment. Subhanallah. This is what they are telling us in Canada. Islam has told us long ago that we are the Khulafa on this earth. We are responsible for the environment and for the resources which is there on this earth. And that is why we should be responsible for whatever we are being done, right? Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When it comes to environment, we commend the efforts of some of us who try to protect the environment. They are concerned about it, some of them, but not everybody. We should not waste, number one. Number two, use the environment-friendly products. It's very important, Mu'mineen. When you buy something from the market, the product should be environment-friendly. In other words, something which can be recycled. For example, that if you take a bottle, a glass bottle, right? If you bury it in a ground, until that time it becomes part of the ground, it becomes part of the earth. You know how long it takes? Anybody? It takes 500 years. 500 saal ke baad, that bottle will become part of the earth. So that is not environment friendly. Do you see this thing? Something which you use which can be environment friendly, that immediately it can become part of the earth, right? Number two. Number three is, instead of trashing a used item, they try to sell it or offer free to others. If you have something, for example, a sofa, a chair, right, a table, anything you have got, you want to now buy a new one, right? But what you have is good. But now you want to change. You you've gone to a bigger house, for example, or you have renovated your house, right? Fine, this is fine. People do it. There's nothing wrong with it, no? So what do? Don't just keep it outside for people to take, what Westman person will take it. No. Try to ask amongst the friends in your own group. For example, we have Hussaini has a group, right, of Mu'mineen. That मेरे पास एक chair है, office chair है. I've got a table, for example. This is the size. It is in good condition. If anybody needs it, please come and take it. Announce it. If, for example, Mu'mineen does not need, then a bigger group of Muslims, for example. Put in a group of Muslims that we have got, for example, chair or a table or a mattress. Anybody need it can take it. If not, then try to put otherwise. Try to make sure that we, for example, you can take to village or there are places, for example, which people take second-hand things, right? Go and take it there instead of just trash it, right? Then what's important is that do not buy new products despite having the means to buy them new. Keep in mind, Mu'mineen, that sometimes if all used product is available in a good condition, you don't need to buy a new product. It's not required, not necessary. There is a used product which is in a good condition, buy it. Because when you buy a new product, it will always, they will try to bring another new product which requires a lot of resources. So it's not a matter of I can afford, no. It's not only affordability. The question is that we are not taking care of the environment because Allah has made us as Khalifa. Finally, put efforts in differentiating between the blue box, green bin, and garbage can items. No, it's very important that if you have, for example, blue boxes, if you've got, for example, green tin, a garbage tin, right, all those things, green bin, make sure that you separate them. You cannot just put everything in a trash. If there are blue box items, put them separately. It is important. We should be responsible, right? Coming to the hadith on Isra, I've got a few minutes as we started earlier, and we want to give time for Azadari. The sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Imam says, fear Allah, subhanallah, khuda ka khauf kijiye. Fear Allah and be not extravagant, nor miserly. Don't be extravagant, at the same time don't be bakhil. Extravagant means don't overspend, but at the same time don't be miserly. If Allah has given you ni'mat, then spend in the way of Allah. Right? For example, we have been told that we should donate towards the Hussainiya, right? That's how the Hussainiya can run. Hussainiya has its expenses, for example. So we should be not extravagant nor miserly. Be moderate. Wherein extravagance is waste. Almighty says, and do not waste. Certainly Allah has never punished people who practice moderation. Subhanallah. Imam says, the person who practices moderation, that means does not overspend, nor is he stingy, Allah will never punish those people, right? Bushr ibn Umar says, I went to the sixth Imam and he placed some dates before us. Look at this, subhanAllah. Look at this incident. Bushr says that we went to the sixth Imam. So because we were the guest, Imam is a host. He placed some dates. No, Imam placed. We began to eat the dates. Some of us were throwing away the seeds. He stopped them and said, this is waste. Allah does not like corruption. Imam mehzban hai, wo log mehman hai. But Imam also is Imam, right? Imam is to correct. And that is why, please, Mu'mineen, when sometimes from the member, if I say certain things, I'm not here to criticize you. I am your mehman. No, you are my mehzban. I don't have a right to criticize you. But at the same time, we have the responsibility to convey the message. If I don't do that on the day of judgment, I'll be asked about that. Okay, when you saw something wrong happening in the community, why you did not raise them? Why you didn't tell them? No. So this is why you can see Imam ke paas mehman aaye, guests are there. Imam served them with dates. They started eating dates and they took those seeds and started throwing. Imam said, this is waste. Allah does not like corruption because at that time, those seeds of dates were used to feed the camels. So it can be used, it had a use, another use. Salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Can you please move, meaning just come forward and move towards the right because there is no space. Just try to come forward and just move towards the right. So Mu'mineen who are coming late, there is a space for them to sit. صل على محمد وآل محمد. Mawla Aminin says, whenever Allah intends goodness from His servants, He reveals to him to live moderately and spend his life in the best way and keeps him away from extravagance and also from stinginess. Subhanallah. Imam says, कि जब कोई बंदा, जब a person is living moderately, that is actually a special, Allah is wishing good for you. When you find that you are moderate, you are not wasting, nor are you stinging, that is a special fear of Allah on you. खुदा की रहमत आपके साथ है, खुदा की बरकत आपके साथ है. This is a special thing. So, mu'mineen, let us try to practice this moderation. That is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us not be like others who do wastefulness. We are mu'mineen. We have so many good examples, right? Subhanallah. One more hadith I'll share with you. It's a beautiful hadith from, in fact, the 6th Imam. It's a long hadith, but I'll share with you because it gives us, it sends the message correctly, right? Imam says, do you think if Allah has bestowed someone with wealth, it is because he is beloved? Subhanallah. See, listen to what Imam is saying. If you find somebody is rich, somebody has millionaire, for example. So Imam says, do you think that that is a sign that Allah is loving him? No, that's not the case. अगर किसी के पास बहुत माल और सरवत है तो ये कोई दलील नहीं कि खुदा उसको चाह रहा है. Imam says, that's not the, in fact Imam says, if he has given less to someone, it is because he is low, or is it because if some के पास कुछ कम है तो वो आदमी खुदा उसको नहीं चाहता? No, this is not the reason. Never try to judge people. कभी कभार, we, for example, we find somebody is rich, we say, oh mashallah, खुदा उसको बहुत चाह रहा है. No, खुदा उसकी इम्तिहान ले रहा है. And sometimes somebody is poor, doesn't mean that that person, Allah does not like him. No, Allah is also taking his imtihan. Having and not having does not mean, Imam says. Listen to what Imam says. It is not so. Whatever wealth is there, it all belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep this in mind, that all the wealth belongs to Allah. Yeah, one thing is there. The wealth which you have earned in a haram way does not belong to Allah. It comes from shaitan. समझ लीजिए. If I have wealth which I have earned in a haram way, by cheating, by deceiving, that is not from Allah subhanahu. That is from shaitan. Remember when I came here in 2019, I shared with you a latifa, right? A joke. That one day, shaitan came to a house of mu'mineen in a country, I won't tell you which country. You are aware of this country. He goes to this country, and every mansion, every big house outside was written, Haza min fadli Rabbi. बार लिखा हुआ था, हाज़ा मिन फज़ल रब्बी. He went to this place, big houses, big mansions, but outside हाज़ा मिन फज़ल. Shaitan complained. He said, "Come back. What is written this thing? I taught you how to cheat, how to deceive, how to earn haram. Then you made money. Then you made big mansion. Then you say हाज़ा मिन फज़ल रब्बी. Say हाज़ा मिन फज़ल shaitan. This is for the grace of shaitan." No, so this is mu'mineen, right? People, they do that. For example, they cheat, they deceive, they make all the kind of things, and then they try to make a big ayat of Quran. This is from Allah. No, this is not from Allah. This is from shaitan. Allah kabhi se never anything, any one penny of haram which is with me in my pocket, it does not come from Allah. That is from shaitan. Allah will never give me haram thing, right? So the Imam says, no. Whatever wealth is there belongs to Allah. Allah gives it to whosoever He wishes as a trust, and He has permitted the trustee to eat, drink, wear clothes, marry, and write from it, but in moderation. Subhanallah. Imam says, Khuda ne jo bhi aapko diya hai. You eat, you drink, you ride, you make all those things, but all these things you do in moderation. You are a trustee of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do in moderation. If he has access, he must distribute it among poor and fulfill their needs. Every money which you have got extra, more than what you need, you are trustee of a poor person. Right? You should know this thing. Subhanallah, Ayatollah Khomeini, marhum, rahmatullah alayhi, before he came as a leader of revolution in Iran, he was exiled in Iraq. He was exiled in Iraq during the time of Shah. He was there. So One day he went to the market. He went to the market in Najaf. Suniya this kissa. He went there and he saw that the market was, mashallah, so many people were there. Everybody was buying things and all these shopkeepers were there busy selling. So Aga asked the question, only one question. Listen to this. He said, all these businessmen are there in Najaf. Who are these? Are these Shias or others? They said, Aga, no, no. In Najaf, all these people are Shias. Even today, if you go, Najaf and Karbala, majority are Shias. These are Shias. What Aga said at that time, subhanallah. He said, if these businessmen, do you see all this? If they were to give the khums and zakat, if all of them, there will be no poor person in Iraq remaining. फकत ये नजफ के जो बाजारी लोग हैं अगर ये लोग खुम्स ज़कात देंगे तो सारा इराक में कोई गरीब नहीं रहेगा कोई फकीर नहीं रहेगा. This is what Agha said at that time. Do you see this thing? So Imam Sadiq says that what Allah has given you is yours, right? You eat, you drink, you dress, you marry, you buy a car, everything. But whatever is extra, you are now a trustee for the poor person, right? Imam says that Allah has entrusted you him, right? Then he says, for example, he says that Allah, no, all this is lawful for him. If he does not act upon it, everything is haram, right? He says. Then Imam recites ayat Quran. Do not be extravagant. Allah does not love those squander, right? Then Imam continues. Do you think that it's proper that a person purchases from the wealth which Allah has entrusted him a horse costing 10,000 dirhams when he could have bought an animal for 20 dirhams? Subhanallah. Imam says, if you could buy a thing for 20 dirhams, a horse, but because you have money, you are buying for 10,000 dirhams. Do you think that this is, do you think that this is proper? And it could be suffice for him, and that is enough, for example, 20 dirhams. Or if he purchases a slave girl, a Kaniz, at a cost of 1,000 dirhams, when he could have done for 20 dinar, quite sufficient for him. And Almighty says, وَلَا تُبَذِّرُ تَبْذِيرًا, do not spend wastefully. So, Mu'mineen, this is it. That buy according to your requirement, not according to what wealth you have. No. जो आपको ज़रूरत है उसके हिसाब से आप ले लीजिए. Not that because I can afford, mashallah, a shirt of, for example, there's a shirt which is available, you can buy a good shirt, say for example $50, say $60, $90, right? No. But you go to a most expensive shop where, for example, the singers and those people buy there, and you buy a shirt of, for example, $500. You have a space there. Credit card burden. This is asrar. No, this is haram, Imam is saying. We can't do those things. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In fact, Imam says, one who wastes and squanders money has done khiyanat in the trust of Allah. As we said, that money which we have, more than what we need, we are trustees, wa amanat hai. And if we waste it, we do khiyanat. No. Again, Abbasi says that I asked the 8th Imam, Imam Ali Musa Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He said, how much should I spend on my family? Now this is a good question because sometimes people are asked, chanda dijiye, try to help people. They say we don't have money. But when it comes to spending for the children, for the family, mashallah, they can do anything they want. Huge amount. So Imam Abbasi says, that somebody by his name was Abbasi, says, I asked Imam, how much should I spend for my family? Imam said, between the two which are disliked. So I said, what do you mean by that? I don't understand this thing. Imam said, certainly Allah hates extravagance and He hates miserliness. So in between these two, right? And the Imam recited, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. So Mu'mineen are doing what? Mu'mineen, when they do infaq, when they spend, they do not do asraf. At the same time, they are not miserliness. If Allah has given you, then give good clothes to your children. Give them have a good life, right? Because Allah has given you. Let your children have a good standard of life. So don't be miserliness. But at the same time, do not also do asraf. Try to be in between. Moderation. Mayana Ravi is the best path which we have to follow. Mu'mineen, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq, that we are able to follow these beautiful and great teachings of Quran in hadith. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mu'mineen, today is a very special day. We have gathered here to remember that Mujahid, subhanallah. That Mujahid who did not go to fight on his own. He was taken to the Maidan. But before I come to discuss the thing, I was also informed that our Afghani brothers also have a custom that they also take out alam today. So make sure that you also participate in that. That after, once I finish, my majlis, there will also be alam taken out, just because it is their custom that on the 7th night, 6th day, today is the 6th day and 7th night, they also have the alam. So because this is a multi-ethnic center, we have, for example, people from Iraq, from Iran, from Pakistan, from India, from Africa, for myself. So we respect everybody's culture, right? Which is the beauty about it. Hussain, sabke liye hai. So keep that in mind. Mu'mineen Ali Askar, subhanallah. When I talk about Ali Askar, this is, if somebody asks you, children, if you ask this question that who was right in Karbala? Was Hussein right or Yazid right? Who was Zalim, who was Mazloom? You don't have to give a long lecture. You don't have to go into any philosophy. Just one answer is that if Imam Hussein was Zalim, then how is it that his 6 months old son was killed? Right? This is the biggest proof. सबसे बड़ी जो दलील है कि इमाम मजलूम थे और यजीद जालिम था, उमर साद जालिम था, इब्न ज़ियाद जालिम था, कि 6 महीना का बच्चा अली अस्कर को शहीद किया गया. This is the biggest proof. You see, Ali Askar, and what happened? Subhanallah. How can somebody even kill a child of 6 months, a babe of 6 months? किसी भी मजहब में, किसी भी फिर में, किसी भी कल्चर में, किसी भी कोई भी जगह पर बच्चे को कोई नहीं मारता. I'll tell you one thing, that for example, when you go to the highway, right, just stand there one day and try to stop a car. You, for example, maybe you got a puncture, try to stop. Nobody is going to stop. They are so busy driving. Only when your friend sees you stop. Next day, just stop there, have a child in your hand. Just have a child in your lap, and now try to stop. Everybody is going to stop, right? Because when they see a 6-month-old child, a baby in your hand, everybody will suddenly stop, right? Because that is humanity. We have a heart of humanity. जब बच्चे को देते हैं तो खुद ब खुद इंसानियत आ जाती है. ये लोग कैसा दिल था उन लोगों का? What kind of heart they had? They had a strong heart, these people. खुद को मुसलमान कह रहे थे. आशूर के दिन इमाम अलैहिस्सलाम so many times said, Hal min nasin yansuruna, Hal min mughisin yughisuna. Is there anyone who can come to our help? Is there anyone who can respond to our call? No, and nobody would come. But just when the last time, when Imam had just given all his companions, all his friends, all his family members, Abbas was gone, Ali Akbar became Shaheed, An Muhammad became Shaheed, Kassam became Shaheed. When all of them became Shaheed, Imam Hussain goes once more and gives the, again says, Hal min nasin yansuruna, Hal min mughisin yughisuna mu'mineen. As much as you can cry, today we are remembering, such a small mujahid. At that time, suddenly Imam heard that women were crying in the in the khayma. Imam goes and says, Zainab, O Kulthum, why are you crying? Hussein is still alive. And Janab Zainab says, your awaz of istighasa, when you cried, Hal min nasin, when you said Hal min mughisuna, there is somebody who started crying. Imam said, who is there? He said, Ali Askar started crying. This was Ali Askar who said, Labbaik ya Hussein, Labbaik Baba. You are saying that Hal min nas yansuruna. Yes, I am here. Baba, come and take me. I cannot go to Maidan and walk myself. I cannot put on a sword. Why don't you take me? Imam al-Islam realized what Ali Askar was asking for. Imam said to Rabab, Ya Rabab, give me the child. Rabab says, Oh Aka, the child is crying because he's just thirsty. The child is crying because of thirst. Can you just try to take some management for the water? Imam said, just give me Al-Yaskar. Maybe I will take him to the Maidan. Maybe there will be somebody who will just have mercy on Al-Yaskar. Imam al-Islam takes Al-Yaskar and puts Abba on him because it was a scorching hot. Imam just covered Al-Yaskar from the heat of the same. I will say, Aka, we are trying to cover Al-Yaskar from the heat, but how are you going to save Al-Yaskar from the arrows of the enemy? Imam takes Al-Yaskar. As he was covering Al-Yaskar, enemy thought that now Imam Hussain is coming with Quran. He wants to just now do Sulh. When Imam Hussain came to the Maidan, I said, O Shia of Abu Sufyan, if you think that Hussain has taqseer, if you think that Hussain has some kind of shortcomings, then what is wrong with this child? This is a 6 months old baby. What wrong he has done? If you want bayat from me, how can a child do a bayat? What wrong he has done? You can see that he's suffering from thirst because of water being denied. That the milk of the mother has dried. She cannot even feed the milk. They did not say anything. And then Imam Hussain Islam took Al-Yaskar and just raised and said, Beta Al-Yaskar, tum hujjat tamam kijiye. Al-Yaskar, you are the son of Hussain. You are the grandson of Ali. Just try to show them what is your condition. Al-Yaskar was just raised. He opened his mouth. The enemy saw the dry tongue of Al-Yaskar. Yes. The enemy saw Al-Yaskar was suffering from the thirst. Now, even the enemy started crying. Umar Asad saw that enemy was crying, looking at the condition of Al-Yaskar. And Umar Asad saw this condition. He said, Hurmala, where are you? Hurmala says, Labbaik, O Amir, I'm here. He said, that Kalam al-Hussein, just try to cut off the speech of Hussein because he has convinced my people, even my people are crying. At that time, Hurmala, may Allah curse Hurmala. Imagine what he did. He took an arrow which had three heads. An arrow which had 3 heads, you can imagine. You are trying to just target a child of 6 months old. Where is your heart, Hurmala? Hurmala was about to just throw that arrow. Suddenly he was getting late. He was getting late. That Umar Asad says, Hurmala, what are you doing? Why are you not just targeting? I told you, go ahead. He said, Umar Asad, you are looking at me, but I can see a lady standing at the entrance of a khaima. She may be the mother of this child. How can I just throw an arrow in front of the mother? How is it possible? Umar Asad said, no, I have given you this order. Hurmala just throws an arrow, Azadar and Hussein. The arrow goes, and then he targets Al-Yaskar. The 5th Imam said the arrow came in the neck of Al-Yaskar. It just pierced from one neck to another neck. And then Imam Al-Yaskar became shaheed in the hands of Imam Hussain al-Islam. Imam al-Islam saw that the child got shaheed. Imam took the blood and just tried to throw towards the skies. Maybe there was a voice, don't do that, it will not rain. Imam wanted to throw the blood on the earth. There was a voice, don't do that, perhaps the vegetation will not grow. Imam took the blood and just put on his face and said, on the day of Qiyamah, I'm going to go like this. And said, Nana Jan, this is what your ummah did to me. Azadar Hussain, after that, what Imam went through was the most difficult time. Imam has Al-Yaskar with him. At that time now, Imam is thinking, I had taken Al-Yaskar from Rabab. I have no promising him that, oh, Rabab, give me Al-Yaskar. Maybe somebody will give him water. But now Al-Yaskar does not have water. Imam Hussain al-Islam is Al-Yaskar. He goes towards the tent and then thinks, should I take it? And goes back and goes forward 7 times. Imam goes towards the tent and comes back. Inna lillahi wa inna alayhi raji'un. Ridam bi qada'i wa tasliman li amri. Azhar Hussain, at that time, as Imam Hussain was going towards the Khayma, Janab Sakina did not see Al-Yaskar because Al-Yaskar was covered. Janab Sakina says, Baba Jan, my brother got the water. What about me? But Imam Hussain does not say, oh, Sakina, Al-Yaskar did not get a water. He got an arrow. When Imam Hussain took the Al-Yaskar and gave it to Janab Rabab, now Rabab said, Marcia, oh, Misluka Yunahari Bunayya. Oh, my son Al-Yaskar, a child like you can also get slaughtered. What kind of enemy is this? Mahtame Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं तेरी वो मासूम अदाएं तेरी याद दिलाती है तेरे प्यार की वो सब बातें मुझको बहुत रुलाती है मैं तेरी जुदा असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। लौट के आ जा लाल मेरे जीवन के नाज उठाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। बोलो साथ, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। तेरी वो मासूम अदाएं तेरी याद दिलाती है, तेरे प्यार की वो सब बातें मुझको बहुत रुलाती है। मैं तेरी जुदाई में बेटा रो रो के मर ना जाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। लौट के आ जा लाल मेरे जीवन के नाज उठाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। लोरियों वाले ये तो तेरे नाज उठाने के दिन थे, आंखों में तेरी खुशियों के ख्वाब सजाने के दिन थे। लौट के असगर आ बेटा तेरा कुर्ता मैं बदलाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। लौट के आ जा लाल मेरे जीवन के नाज उठाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। मेरी आंख का तारा है तू मुझको जान से प्यारा है, दुखियारी के जीने का तू ही लाल सहारा है। तुझे छोड़ के तन्हा मकतल में मैं कैसे शाम बिताऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं, असगर बिन तेरे मैं चैन कहाँ से पाऊं। या हुसैन, या हुसैन, या हुसैन,
शेर का लाशा, शेर का लाशा, बेशेर का लाशा, बेशेर का लाशा। वो लाश लिए 7 दफा आगे बढ़े हैं, फिर सोच के कुछ रोते हुए पीछे हटे हैं। हसरत से खड़े देख रहे हैं शहवाला, बेशेर का लाशा। लाशें तो शहीदी ने उठाए हैं 72, लेकिन किसी लाश पे नहीं देखा ये मंजर। किस गुर्बत मजलूमी से मौला ने उठाया, बेशेर बेशीर का लाशा 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 शाह नजफ आपसे फरियाद है मौला आसान था वो हाथों से खैबर का उठाना मुश्किल है मगर बाप का हाथों से उठाना बेशीर का लाशा 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 ले आओ जिगर थाम के इस लाल को आके आवाज दी फिर असगर को ये आके ये कहते हुए मौला ने फिर आगे बढ़ाया बेशीर का लाशा 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 एक जुमला बड़ी आस से फरमाया है माने क्या ज़िब्ह किए जाते हैं तुझ जैसे भी बच्चे जब मादर असगर ने निगाहों से है देखा बेशीर का लाशा 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 फिर मौला ने है कब्र तलवार से बनाई फिर मौला ने तलवार से है कब्र बनाई और नन्ही सी मैया उसी तुरबत में छुपाई फिर रोते हैं जब कब्र में दफना चुके मौला बेशीर का लाशा 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 जब हो चुकी है कह के तरोसन में जुदाई मकतल में फिर एक बार कयामत है ये आई है ढूंढने को एक शकी दश्त में आया बेशीर का लाशा 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 खंजर जो रखा नन्हे से हल्कों के ऊपर बेदर्दी से फिर काट लिया नन्हा सा वो सर और छोड़ दिया खाक पे वो फूल की जैसा बेशीर का लाशा या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु I am Safaram Bobo, I told you Saram Bobo, I am Safaram Bobo, I told you Saram Bobo, I am Safaram
Bobo, I told you Saram Bobo,
I am Safaram
Bobo, I told you Saram Bobo.
हम بابا تو کجا بودی از ما تو جدا بودی ایم سفرم بابا ای تاج سرم بابا ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم بابا
ایم سفرم
فرم بابا ای تاج سرم
آن دم که تو از ماتم افتادی و غش کردی آن دم که تو از ناقم افتادی و غش کردی من بر سر نی بودم مشغول دعا بودم ایم سفرم بابا ای تاج سرم بابا ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم بابا
ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم
بابا آن دم که مرا ظالم حساب کنیزی کرد آن دم که مرا ظالم حساب کنیزی کرد بابا تو کجا بودی از ما تو جدا بودی ایم سفرم بابا ای تاج سرم بابا ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم بابا
آن دم که تو را ظالم اظهار کنیزی کرد آن دم که تو را ظالم اظهار کنیزی کرد در تشت طلا بودم مشغول دعا بودم ایم سفرم بابا ای تاج سرم بابا ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم بابا
ایم سفرم بابا آن دم که مرا سیلی آن شمر لعین میزد آن دم که مرا سیلی آن شمر لعین میزد بابا تو کجا بودی از ما تو جدا بودی ایم سفرم بابا
ای تاج سرم بابا
ایم سفرم
بابا ای تاج سرم بابا
آن دم که تو را سیلی آن شمر لعین میزد آن دم که تو را سیلی آن شمر لعین میزد با تو همه جا بودم ای از تو جدا بودم با تو همه جا بودم ای از تو جدا بودم ایم سفرم بابا
ای تاج سرم بابا
یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
ويلتا 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 ويلتا
ويلتا ويلتا ويلتا
آی صدای زمزمه آی صدای زمزمه عباس را मौला अमीर المؤمنين कौन گریه با ام البنین دریا شده دریای خون صحرا شده صحرای خون وا ویلتا وا ویلتا وا ویلتا وا ویلتا मौला अमीर المؤمنين मौला अमीर المؤمنين कौन گریه با ام البنین دریا شده دریای خون صحرا شده صحرای خون وا ویلتا وا ویلتا وا ویلتا وا ویلتا या हुसैन या हुसैन
बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर झूला तेरा झूलावा क्यों रुस गया है माँ तो आजा मैं वाली जावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर झूला तेरा झूलावा क्यों रुस गया है माँ तो आजा मैं वाली जावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर झूला तेरा झूलावा क्यों रुस गया है माँ तो आजा मैं वारी जावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर आ मेरा नाज़नीन डाली गरम ज़मीन आ मेरा नाज़नीन डाली गरम ज़मीन आ मेरा नाज़नीन डाली गरम ज़मीन आजा मैं झोली पाके वाला पीछा बढ़ावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर झूला तेरा झूलावा क्यों रुस गया है माँ तो आजा मैं वाली जावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर असगर मोहरा मोरी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी असगर मोहरा मोरी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी असगर मोहरा मोरी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी झोले चोलाल दे के सुखी सो पिया ने मावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर झूला तेरा झूलावा क्यों रुस गया है माँ तो आजा मैं वाली जावा आजा बिलाल असगर आजा बिलाल असगर असगर मोहरा मोड़ी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी असगर मोहरा मोड़ी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी असगर मोहरा मोड़ी संगत नमाज़ी तोड़ी झूला तेरा झुलावा क्यों रस गया है मानो आजा मैं बारी जावा सल्लल्लाहु
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala an-nabiy ya